Good morning, everybody. It is August 19th. It's nearly 2 weeks to the day to opening on September 1st for archery season. And I'm trying to get a few things done here in town that'll allow me to go out towards here, towards the end of August, like the 30th or the 31st, and go ahead and get my hunting camp set up. Where I'll spend, if you've seen my other videos, I'll spend a month to 2 months out in the elk woods. And in order to be able to do that, I've got to make sure I got all my ducks in a row, got stuff done here in town that needs to be done prior to me going out, even though I do come back once a week, check on the business, and I'm always in communication with my wife in case something happens. I got to come back in and there's an emergency of some sort that I have to take care of, or something that needs my personal attention. She can get a hold of me anytime she needs to. But so one of the things I'm doing here, getting ready for the upcoming hunting season, is I'm cleaning out my freezer. Most people do that. Got leftover meat and whatnot. A lot of people do it because towards the end of the year, the hunting year, just prior to opening of the coming hunting season, a lot of the meat's starting to get freezer burnt, may be degrading in quality. However, that is never a concern of mine, just for the simple fact that I vacuum seal everything. I'm a huge fan of vacuum sealers, a proponent of vacuum sealing. I have pulled stuff out of the freezer that got hidden and been sitting in the freezer for 4 or 5 years, and thawed it out and opened the bags and cooked it up, and it was tasted just fine. No freezer burning at all. So yeah, like I said, a huge fan of vacuum sealing. But I do enjoy making jerky. My wife really likes jerky. It's one of her favorite things. So I make sure that she's happy, because keeping her happy is what allows me to be able to go out and hunt the way that I do and spend the time out in the woods like I do. So she gets what she wants. She likes jerky. There you go. And of course, I like taking jerky out to hunting camp. We eat jerky through the year. And one of the main reasons I do it is it reduces the meat footprint in my freezer. Anybody that's made jerky, that the meat shrinks considerably. So it's a lot easier to store jerky in the freezer than it is to store cut meat. So here we go. We're smoking our jerky. I don't dehydrate jerky. I don't care for it. I like smoked jerky. Anything that I make, any of my sausages and my snack sticks and whatnot, all that is smoked. And of course, smoking your meat, you have to cure it. You have to soak it in cure for at least 24 hours, and your spice. In this particular case, what I've got going on in the smoker, it's been sitting in the fridge for 4 days, so it's very well cured. And this is the second smoker that I've actually owned. The first one was a Bradley smoker, and I did not care for it at all. Very convenient, and it smoked really well. The drawback is the heating element in the bottom. It's terrible. It's very hot towards the back and somewhat on the sides, cold in the front. You couldn't finish. It was very, very hard to finish your product off, getting it up to the final temperature in the smoker itself. I had to pull, once I had the meat smoked, I had to pull it out and put it in the oven in the house and finish it off there, which made a big mess, and it made the whole house smell like smoked jerky, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but not exactly the atmosphere you want inside your house. So I sold that, and I went to a propane smoker. Let me try to adjust this here smoothly. Right down there, I'm using I think those are the 40-pound bottles or 30-pound bottles, basically what you see on the front of campers. I actually went through my big 40-pounder. Yeah, those are the 30. I went through my big 40-pounder already. I haven't got it refilled up, so I'm using these bottles here, and you can see the smoke coming out of there pretty well. Now you'll notice that the door is cracked open, and the reason I'm doing that is that one drawback to this smoker is that in order to get the temperature up high enough, which is controlled by the burners down there on the bottom, I think you can see them. Try this. Down there, see two knobs, there's two burners, and the wood box, or the chip box or tray, sits on top of the burners, and the heat from the burner is what gets the wood chips smoking. Now you can use wood pellets in here, and wood chips. Get a bag of chips here. This is the tray that's ready to go in, and as you can see, there's some sizable chips. These are mesquite, and the smaller chips down here in the bottom are hickory. Like I said, you can use wood pellets as well. You don't really want to go much larger than what you see here, because it takes way too much heat to get the larger blocks of wood smoking. So that's my setup here for the hickory mesquite mix that I use, and that's what I like best. I've used pecan and oak and cherry in the past, and it's it's okay, but I like the hickory and the mesquite. I also like apple as well. Close this up a little bit. So anyway, like I was saying, you see the door is cracked, and that tray, I got that tray I just showed you sitting on top, kind of holding the door in place. It is a little bit breezy, and that door will swing open wider than I want it to. But the reason it is open like that is that I am mitigating the temperature inside that box. Like I said, you got to get that flame underneath that wood tray up pretty high to get the wood smoking. And when you do that, you're also increasing the temperature inside the smoker box, which, if you know anything about smoking meats, you want to do it as low as you can. You want it at about 120 to 140 degrees. Actually, 140, about 120 to 130 is ideal for smoking the meat. And the big thing is that you don't want to dry your meat out too quickly. Once you get rid of a lot of the moisture inside the meat, and especially the surface moisture, it's not going to really absorb the smoke flavor like you're hoping it will. So you want to avoid getting it too warm inside that smoker box. Now, like I said, it is the middle of August. However, we've got a cold snap happening right now for the next couple days, and they're actually calling for snow up in Montana, up in the higher elevations over today and tomorrow. But here in town, it's about 55 degrees, between 55 and 60, and even that is not ideal for using this type of smoker. The colder it is outside, the better. I try to do a lot of my smoking in the wintertime, especially when it's down in the negative numbers, because then I can really get a good smoke going. I can turn that heat up underneath that smoker box, or the wood chip box, the tray, and really get that wood smoking, and it doesn't overheat my box where I'm cooking off the meat too quickly, and so it gets a really good smoke. So in the warmer temperatures like today, and I've even used the smoker, when it's 80, 90 out, you just have to mitigate that with the door there. So I've got the door cracked open, and what that's doing is, I'm losing some smoke, but the majority of the smoke is inside the box, but it's keeping that box from getting overheated. You want to, once you get your smoke done, then you can go ahead and close that door, and get your temperature up around 170. I like to smoke it between 170 or finish it off between 170 and 180. And when we're talking about finishing off your meat, that's getting the internal temperature up to what's called lethality for bacteria, lethality temperature. You need to get up to a minimum of 140 to kill most parasites, including trichinosis. 140 to 145, I think, is the temperature. But they recommend 150 to 160 for bacteria. So you want to get your internal temperatures up to around that temperature, 160 is pretty much the temperature I shoot for. And I've done this for years. I've never had anybody even get a headache from eating my smoked meat. Um, Definitely no cases of food poisoning or nothing like that. So that's basically my setup, my operation for making jerky, smoking meat, and it does work out really well for me. Um, you know, everything has compromises, but this compromise, having to have that door open in the warmer ambient temperatures, is better than having to take my meat out of the smoker altogether and put it in the oven in the house to get it up to the temperature I need to make sure that all the nasties are killed off of it. Um, so, that's it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section, and I'll answer you. I don't think I've ever left a comment or a question unanswered or unliked or not responded to. So give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Check out my other videos on my hunting camp setup, how I do things, and I try to do really in-depth reviews on things. I give my opinions after having used stuff used it the way it was meant to be used, and over a long period of time. So I think am able to form good opinions about gear that I have. Like I said, like the video, subscribe. Mentioned in my other videos, this is never about making money. I'm not on Patreon. I'm not going to beg you to send me money so that you can have the privilege of watching me go out and spend it by, buying stuff and sitting out in the woods. And I'm not about that. This is not my livelihood. I'm making these videos, trying to get information out, just basically trying to help people out. However, I would appreciate if you would, like the video and subscribe and share the videos if you want to. And the reason I'm asking that is I'm not above getting a sponsor. I don't have any sponsors. Everything you see that I talk about, all the gear I use, I've paid with it with my own money. I will give you honest opinions about it. But I wouldn't mind having a sponsor or two, outdoor gear. Send me something that you want me to review, actually use extensively and use it hard. That I'll do it. And so if you're wanting to do that, then by all means get a hold of me. But like I said, if you want to subscribe and like the videos and whatnot, that will hopefully get my viewership up, and maybe I can pick up a sponsor or two. Anyway, enough begging. I hope you liked the video, and have a great day, and I'll see you in a couple weeks when I get my new elk camp set up. Take care.